Hey everybody, what's up? I am back with another cooking video. You guys all have been enjoying all my cooking on Instagram, so if you're not following me, follow me on Instagram and check out my stories. I have been cooking my behind off during this quarantine, but I made my grandmother's macaroni and cheese and you all wanted to know the recipe. So if you want to know how to get this creamy down south soul food macaroni and cheese, keep watching. So here's my list of ingredients of all the things I'll be using to make my macaroni. I'll be using elbow macaroni. You can use the large elbow. You can use different shapes of macaroni, but I'm going to use traditional elbow macaroni. I'm going to use carnation canned milk, Velveeta cheese, butter. You can use salted or unsalted, don't matter to me. I'm going to use flour, half and half, seasoning, and 3 or 4 different types of cheeses, child. This going to be cheesy. So I'm going to start by salting my water, or you can use chicken broth. I didn't have any, or chicken stock, whichever. I didn't have either, so I'm salting my water and I'm using a little bit of vegetable oil so that my pasta doesn't stick together. And while that's boiling, I'm going to go ahead and dice up my Velveeta cheese just so that it melts quicker. Now that my water has come to a boil, I'm going to add my pasta to it. I'm going to let it boil until it's like al dente, which is probably like 15 minutes. You don't want it too firm and you don't want it soft at all because it's still going to cook in the oven. So you do it till like al dente, like I said, like 15 minutes. And after 15 minutes, I'm going to drain my pasta. And to make my cheese sauce, and start on my roux. I melted 1 stick of butter and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and I'm just going to whisk that. Listen, I don't measure, I just go because that's how my grandmother does it. She doesn't measure, she just goes, so I just go. Just so you guys have an idea of the measurements, I tried to measure everything. So I'm going to add in 1 can, I think it's an 8-ounce can of evaporated milk. And I'm just going to whisk all that together until it's well blended and creamy. You don't want to leave your pot, you don't want to leave your stove because this can easily burn, and you don't want burnt cheese. And then I add in the cubes of Velveeta cheese that I diced because it's going to make the cheese sauce really creamy. And I'm just going to whisk this together until the cheese melts, and I add a little bit at a time so that it melts faster. And I do have my heat on medium low medium. I don't have it up too high because, like I said, I don't want my cheese sauce to burn. And once everything is melted, it's gonna look like this. Now my grandmother, this is her cheese sauce. This is what she would do. She would season this and add this to her macaroni. But I like to make a custard cheese sauce as well so that it's extra cheesy. And this is also where I would add the egg. So I'm just gonna add a couple different bags of cheese, shredded cheese, to a bowl. I used to use block cheese and shred it myself, but ain't nobody got time for that. And I'm gonna add my half and half to this to make it milky and creamy. You can use canned milk for this as well, or whole milk, but half and half is a little bit more creamier, so I use half and half. As well as this is where I'm gonna season it, so I'm just gonna add all my different types of season to your taste. I don't use measurements when seasoning at all, so season to your taste. I like to season up my cheeses and my milk. I taste it, see if it's seasoned enough. I'll add more if I need to, and then I add the egg last. So to my cheese sauce on the stove, I'm going to toss in my pasta or my noodles and give it a good mix so that all my noodles are coated and covered in cheesy goodness. So I'm going to take a glass pan. I never make my macaroni in a glass pan, but today we're doing it in a glass pan. So I'm going to spray it down with Pam. I would usually take a stick of butter and grease down my pan, but today I'm using Pam. And I'm just going to add that creamy, oh my god, I want to eat that just like that. Kraft macaroni, where? And I'm just going to spread it out evenly in the pan. And then I'm going to start layering in my cheese custard mix. Some people do one or the other. I do both. You can do just a custard sauce with the cheese like this and pour it over your noodles. Or you can make a cheese sauce and pour it over your noodles. But I like to do both. By adding the egg, that gives it the firmness so that it's not like just all the way creamy. Like my grandmother's macaroni is creamy all the way through. But I like to have a little bit of firmness to it. I don't like it to be like a cake. but I still like it to have a little stiffness to it. So that's why I do the custard as well as to get all that extra cheesy goodness in there. So now I'm just going to top it off with cheese. My grandmother would top it off with cheese and breadcrumbs, but I've never been a fan of the breadcrumbs. I'm not a fan of the top layer with the cheese either. So I prefer to get my macaroni from the middle, not the corners. If it was a brownie, I would only get the corners. But yeah, my macaroni, I love the cheesy goodness, the creaminess of the macaroni and cheese in the middle. Do you like the corner pieces of macaroni and the cheese on the top, or do you like yours like from the middle and you really only eat the insides of the macaroni? Let me know. So I'm going to sprinkle some paprika on top. This is just for color. Paprika really doesn't give flavor. It has a little spice to it, but nothing serious. So yeah, I only use it for color. And this baby looks good already. I'm going to cover it in foil and pop it in the oven on 350. In the Black household, we cook everything on 350, right? And I'm going to leave it in for about 30 minutes. So I've had it in the oven for about 30 minutes. As you can see, it's good and bubbly, looks good, damn near done. But no, this day I wanted to put it back in the oven, and then I put it back in the oven for an additional 45 minutes instead of the 15 that I wanted to do. It was the night of the Teddy Riley and Babyface, and I completely forgot I had my damn macaroni in the oven. So yeah, she good and bubbly, but she good and burnt. I was so disappointed. The cheese on the bottom had burnt, so yeah, it was a fail. Like I said, it was my first time cooking it in this glass pan, as well as using Pam instead of butter, and I left it in there too long, so the bottom cheese burnt. But we still ate it. It was still good and edible, but I was not going out like that. So I cooked macaroni again in an aluminum pan like I normally do, using butter like I normally do, and this is the outcome. So good, so cheesy, so creamy. Yeah, perfect macaroni. So just make sure you keep an eye on your macaroni. Don't leave it in the oven too long. 30 minutes the first time, 15 minutes the second time, just so that the top browns a little bit. I don't like my top super brown. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the top part of the cheese anyway. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Let me know if you try it. If you have your own little tweaks that you do to your macaroni, leave it below. I know my sister-in-law, I think she adds either sour cream or cream cheese, one of them. Hope you guys enjoy. I love you guys, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.